I've connected to it, but I didn't have to log in. But it's,
The hotspot should not require any login, but
yes.
they change these things without letting me know. So one day it's like this, and then the other day it's something else.
I heard they disabled the Wi-Fi that's in the Davies Hall in the top floor.
Oh,
They turned it off.
they turned it off.
Yeah.
Do you know why they turned it off?
I don't know.
I know they had at least last year they had problems with IP addresses. They don't have enough IP addresses to assign to all the people who want to connect to the Wi-Fi. Yes.
Excuse me, I just want to let you know, with the Wi-Fi, I've had problems trying to connect Ethernet, with the Ethernet.
With the internet. Well, when we get to the hardware stuff, we'll talk about networking. What is Wi-Fi and what is Ethernet.
No, I think it's the Ethernet.
Ethernet is the wired interface. You have to plug into an Ethernet. When you're using you're either using Wi-Fi or you're using Ethernet. Most of the time, you don't use both at the same time. Some people do.
There are some ports in the library.
In the library?
Yeah.
Okay. And they do allow people to plug in their own computers? Okay.
I've tried that.
And
In the student center.
in the student center, so what happens after that?
No, I always use the Wi-Fi. I've not tried the Ethernet.
Oh, okay, I see. All right, so I'm going to start a two-pronged approach today. I'm starting to connect to cisc310 at the same time see this one is still going, and then at the same time I'm starting my own recorder, so this way, I can get started with the class. If cisc310 stops working or doesn't want to work, that's okay. I still got my own recording. If that works, it's even better because it has closed captioning. So it's all kind of it's a slightly better approach from that perspective. I can do both at the same time. It's not a problem.
Are you gonna look at the smartphone for that?
Yep. Let's take a look at the smartphones. This is one cool part about this class is I can actually talk about stuff like this. I can go to newegg.com. I can go to /dot and talk about all kinds of different fun things that my other classes would be kind of out of topic, but in this class it is still all in topic. So which one particularly, the curve or the 10 that you want?
It's the 10.
It's the 10. So the 10 is the new one.
Yeah.
Well, cisc310 is starting up. All right, fine.
No, we're not.
All right, so let's go ahead, start recording now. Let's go ahead and start. And I need to make sure that, there's no video source, of course not. I have to make sure that it is recording at the right level, so let's go ahead and, this part doesn't matter, it's just the speaker part. No one is connecting to this class remotely, so this part doesn't bother me. The next part is the audio portion, so this is the part that is important. So I'm gonna pump it up to here. This is a recording. And of course, since I cannot, I can play back a little bit and see what the effect is. All right, so that sounds okay. We're good to go. And I'll click this button, so we'll start to do the recording. And I'll do the screen capture. And share. And get rid of this one. All right. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're taking a look at the BlackBerry 10, which is a mobile platform that is not Android nor Windows. So under here, let's see, what do I do?
Click the phone. Click the phone.
Click the phone itself. Oh. No? Right. So the question is, how big is the device and how long will the battery last? All right. Cool. Now, one thing about these websites is it is so interactive. The question is, can a blind person use it? Can someone with visual disability navigate a website just like you and I with a mouse? It's called accessibility. That particular aspect of web authoring is called accessibility. I'm right now teaching a class called cisw370, and the focus is accessibility. We talk about why there are requirements for web accessibility, what are the standards and guidelines related to web accessibility, and how do you make sure a website is accessible. And then we move in and talk about HTML elements and how to utilize various attributes of certain elements to make sure that websites are accessible to as many people as possible. Yes?
The standard that you just mentioned, is that by federal law, or is that the standard that the International Consortium decided as a whole?
That is a good, interesting question. Okay, so the question was, is it, just the federal government applying, does this only apply to government agencies, or does it also apply to everybody? Now that is a very good question, because the interpretation of the law is changing over time. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit of a digression here. I know we want to kind of stay on this topic because it's fun. Yep,
I
go ahead.
believe you're talking about title and alt tags, which are required on most sites that go public.
Right, so the question is, what is considered public? Okay, so that's the question. Many years ago, I believe Southwest Airline had a website, and they have a online way to let people sign in and deal with all their ticketing stuff. Okay, and then people complained. Some people complained that it was not accessible to people who could not see the screen, people who are blind. And they sued Southwest for that reason. Southwest returned and asked the court, the judge, to dismiss the case altogether because ADA, which is the American Disability Act, is it? Okay, does not apply to websites. And the judge agreed. The judge actually said, because this is all virtual, it does not apply to a physical site, does not apply to a physical location. So the ADA does not apply in that case, and the case was actually dismissed. This was around 2003, 2002 or so. Okay, in 2006, 2007, Target faced a similar lawsuit from the NFB, the National Federation of the Blind. Because their website was not accessible to people who could not see. Okay, and Target thinking, hey, we can use the same argument and dismiss the case. So they went to the judge and asked the judge to dismiss the case. But in this case, the judge actually said a website is considered, quote unquote, a public place, a place of public accommodation. Okay. And a website was classified as, quote unquote, a place as defined in the ADA. So the ADA, or the American Disability Act, was actually applicable, at least from the perspective of this judge in 2007. What has changed from 2003 to 2007? People's perception. Okay, it's the perception of people. What is considered a place of accommodation? What is considered public? What is accommodation? And what is, quote unquote, a place? Yes?
Did that perception change because we're using more websites as part of our data?
Yes, because there was an explosion of services as well as information offered through the web from 2003 to 2007. There was a really sharp increase of the application of using the web to either disseminate information and also to let people shop, bank, get their education, and so on and so forth. So that the perception of the judge changed. It's not the same judge, okay? By the way, it's not the same judge. The first one was a judge in Texas, and then the second one was a judge in California. Okay, so the state also matters, right? Okay, because in California, you would imagine that most people are more tech savvy, so they go online to do just about everything, and as a result, the perception is online banking is similar to going into a bank and actually do your banking services. Yep.
Well, what kind of accessibility options can be offered to somebody who can't see the screen? Because it can be read, I know that. And
and stuff like that, but
Mhm.
isn't that kind of like a blind person driving? Like that?
Well, I'll let you guys try to address that first.
Well, if you
Go
put an
ahead.
alt tag in any HTML tag, that allows you to mouse over, say, a picture.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'll say the word or the string of words if the user has software on their computer to allow them to do that.
Yeah.
It's
Same
called a
for-
screen reader.
Yeah, screen reader.
Yeah, it's called a screen reader. Yep, go ahead.
Doesn't that exclude certain sites like YouTube that's all visuals or videos?
That's a very good question. The question was, this requirement, the ADA, does it apply to all websites or does it only apply to certain websites? Go ahead.
On YouTube, there's a lot of, some things have captioning, but you could use captioning through Google.
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Some YouTube videos have captions, and I was told that there is a way to caption directly from voice, but with some errors.
Yes, that is entirely true. So let me try to address, your question and also address, your, not so much question but your comment at the same time. Captioning allows people who cannot hear to be able to read the content and understand what is going on in the video. So that is a requirement for multimedia distribution. But let me get back to your question first. Is it required for YouTube and everything to have ADA to have a captioning and be accessible to all kinds of people? So that's a really good question. There are two types of organizations that are exempt from the ADA requirement right off the bat. Can anyone guess which two types of organizations? The government and schools, right? No, I'm just kidding. Those two types of organizations are required to meet the ADA standards because they are all done by tax money, and so it cannot say, oh, we only let certain people access our website. Yep, go ahead.
ARPA or NSA, something with like high secrecy?
Maybe, but it's not a classification of organizations. Okay, I'll let you know
So
the
it's
answer.
like a tax write-off for the chief, basically.
No, well, those two are not tax write-offs. They just do not have to meet the requirement. It's one would be churches, religious organizations do not have any requirement. They don't have to meet ADA requirements. In other words, a physical church has no requirement to have ramps and other things to help people on wheelchairs to get into the church. That is not required of churches. And then the second one would be private clubs like country club and stuff like that. It's also considered exempt from ADA requirements.
But what I'm saying is that government and the school, like you were saying, are required.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be like
It's
the same
because
thing, like a tax write-off type? We let so many of them.
no, it's because people with disabilities pay their taxes as well as people who are without those particular disabilities. So we cannot say that this information it's okay to be inaccessible to those people because they pay their taxes too. So the government should make sure that things are all the information is also accessible to people with disabilities.
Well, because like a lot of applications, because I'm Native American.